Base set. Whether you grew up with it or discovered it later, there's no escaping that this set changed cardboard forever. But a quarter century has come and gone, and Pokemon doesn't look the same as it used to. We've had nearly 150 sets since then, each adding new mechanics, new rarities, and new upgrades. And year after year of innovative concepts has made the original base set feel like a vintage relic of the past. So what if we took the most iconic set of all time and gave it a quarter century of upgrades by layering in one defining mechanic from every generation that's come after it? Here's the challenge though, we only get one upgrade per generation per rarity. So that means we can't just slap a bunch of Mega Evolutions in it and call it Mega Base Set, or pack it full of top chase cards from every generation like Alt-Arch, Special Illustration Rares, and Mega Hyper Rares. And one more thing, I can't add new Pokemon that weren't a part of the original base set blueprint. I am, however, allowed to add variations of those Pokemon as long as it fits within the generation's upgrade. So one upgrade per generation per rarity. And I'll go ahead and warn you that with 9 generations and only 8 rarities, we're gonna have to get really creative somewhere. Okay, let's kick it off with one of the most beloved generations of Pokemon ever, Sun and Moon. In 2017, the Pokemon Company sent the Mega Evolutions of X and Y packing and introduced a mousehold of new rarities for us to choose from, including a new top-tier chase card for the era, Rainbow Secret Rares. People love these prismatic CGI cards, but with how difficult these were to pull, I think what they really loved was the thrill of the chase. So I'm gonna save our top rarity for another generation and instead look to the mechanic that was introduced in 2019. It's Tag Team. Tag Team cards brought 2 Pokemon together on a single card under one set of stats, abilities, and attacks for the first time. These souped up pairings came in 4 different varieties. Take Team-Up's Gengar and Mimikyu for example. You've got the Rainbow Secret Rare version, a Secret Rare Alt-Art, a Full Art version, and the one that we're gonna be using, the GX version, which I'm gonna place in our Illustration Rare slot. I know Illustration Rares are technically not part of the main set like the GX cards are, but they have a pull rate of 1 in 10, which is really close to the Illustration Rare pull rates of the Scarlet and Violet era. Tag teams are fun because it lets us pair the original base set Pokemon in ways that haven't existed in the card game. Like this gaggle of granite gangsters, Onix and Machamp, who are teaming up to go traverse the dark depths of Kanto's rock tunnel. How about this one where Chansey's replaced her lucky egg with a pretty unhappy Electrode? Or another reluctant pairing of Haunter and Poliwrath, where Haunter's using Poliwrath's swirling spiral to lock enemies into its hypnosis. We've even got a pair of 4-legged fire types battling over the same Firestone to see who gets to evolve first. Oh, here's a bit of a deep cut. We've got a tag team of red and yellow Chikachus who are ponchoed up, taunting a duo of Gyarados and Magikarp. But don't forget the tag team also gave us triple team cards which combine 3 Pokemon on a card. And I think the Kanto starters would be perfect for this concept. But it's too bad that Charmander's on the inside looking out at the Blooming Waters pairing of Squirtle and Bulbasaur. So the first generation and the first rarity come off the board and we can add our tag team cards to our new base set. Before we roll back the clock to the 2000s Neo era, do me one favor, make sure you're subscribed. Only around 1% of people that view my videos are subscribed to the channel. It's free. I'm a quality over quantity guy, so I'm never gonna spam you with content, and it helps to keep the channel's lights on. Really appreciate you supporting the channel. On to Neo. Neo famously introduced entirely new typings to Pokemon for the first time with the inclusion of the Dark and Metal typing. And while it would have been really cool to layer these typings into base set, out of our 70 base set Pokemon, there isn't a single one that makes sense to give the Dark typing to. And I'm not about to let Magneton run Stag as the only Metal type. So that leaves us with Light Pokemon, which countered the Dark Pokemon first introduced in the Team Rocket set, Reverse Hollows if you count the Legendary Collection as part of this era, or the mechanic that we've chosen from this era, Shiny Pokemon. Neo Revelations revealed an iconic pair of shining Gyarados and Magikarp, which kicked off a brand new subset of shiny Pokemon collecting. I like the idea of selecting shinies for this era as an homage to the original shiny Pokemon, but I also like the idea that shinies are a cherry on top of a set, not the entirety of our set, like it would be if we took it from another generation. So we're gonna take base sets Gyarados and Magikarp, give them a shiny paint job, and then throw them into our own version of the Lake of Rage pair of connected texture cards. Let's add them into the set, and the next up is Ruby and Sapphire. This was the era of Gold Stars, which might be the most iconic subset in Pokemon history, and if not, it's certainly the most expensive. But as dope as it would have been to see some of our Gen 1 classics get a border break and makeover, Gold Stars are shiny variations of Pokemon, and we just took our shiny rare off the board with Neo. We've got a no dupes clause, which means that we've got to go with the generation's namesake, EX cards. This generation brought more powerful Pokemon with higher HP and a greater risk reward, and while this concept has changed over the years, we've returned to the EX cards time and time again. So it makes sense to bring that mechanic to base set, and EX cards back then looked more similar to holo rare cards of the modern era, so this is going to take our rare slot. I really wanted to do like a cool combo of stamped reverse holos that they introduced in Team Rocket Returns, but it turns out that they never mixed EX cards and reverse holos. So what we end up getting is basically a beefed up Nidoking, Magneton, and Hitmonchan with a slightly different holo pattern. But hey, that's part of this challenge. Let's go ahead and take these off the board and add our EX cards into the set. Okay, on to the dark ages of the hobby. Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, and we're lumping in Heart Gold and Soul Silver into this generation too. So here's what we've got to work with. Looks like either the E is silent or we dropped it all together as we moved from EX to level X cards. We've also got legend cards from Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and while I love the art on these cards, especially the Gen 2 legends, I've never been a fan of the whole two-part art thing. Like if I pull Dialga and Palkia's bottom card, I'm mad because it's just some dusty legs. But there is one mechanic from this era that they've never done better than they did here, and it takes the place of the most challenging rarity to fill. It's Heart Gold and Soul Silver's energy cards. It's crazy because if you wanted to buy a single set of these common energies today, it would run you $250, which is more than most chase cards from this entire era. Honestly, I think these look sick applied to base set. You've got your starter trio on the grass, water, and fire energies. We've got the link cable pair of Machamp and Alakazam on the fighting and psychic energies. I elected for Electabuzz on the lightning energy over Pikachu because Pikachu's a little lad and didn't show up well. We've even got our wild card, our double colorless energy with a pair of blue dragons, Dratini and Dragonair, because Dragonite is criminally not in base set. That's another generation of rarity down, and we're adding in a big chunk of cards to our new base set. Let's keep it rolling with black and white. Pokemon's maybe 12 to 15 years old at this point, and some of the more modern mechanics are starting to form. The most prominent being full arts. These cards gave border-to-border real estate to Pokemon and trainers for the first time. Black and white base set came in hot with a monochromatic pair of Reshiram and Zekrom. Yeah, the ones that inspired these guys. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know how badly I wanted to break the bank on our highest rarity and go monochrome here. I mean, how cool would monochromatic Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur look? But I've got something special for the hyper rare slot. So you know how we have 9 generations and 8 rarities? Well, this is our wild card. In 2013, with the release of Plasma Storm, Pokemon created the first ever Elite Trainer box, and this thing slaps with that epic Shadow Lugia on it. So we're giving base set its very own Elite Trainer box. We're going with the original Ken Sugimori illustrations of our Kanto starter trio. These were used on the English version of the video game box arts, but base set definitely deserves a Pokemon Center ETB, and for that, we're going with another deep cut. It's the Japanese video game box arts, also illustrated by Ken Sugimori. Just gotta make some room for this on the board. Scoot that over there. Yeah, that's perfect. All right, from ETB on the XYZA. XY took power-up gimmicks to the next level with Mega Evolutions, and as cool as it would be to bring Fairy-type Pokemon to the 90s, or even create some gold and break cards for our Gen 1 favorites, bringing Mega Evolutions to base set is an absolute must for me. And I think it's important that we do it with the generation that created Megas, so we'll have to figure out what mechanics are left for us to choose from when we get to the generation titled Mega Evolution in just a minute. So we've got Secret Rare, Full Art, and Mega EX variants to choose from. We've still got a few of the best generations in terms of art yet to come, and honestly the variants are pretty similar. So let's go with the Mega EX variant, which fits pretty nicely into our double rare slot. Now to figure out which base set Pokemon get a Mega. And since these aren't our main chase cards, I can't in good faith give it to the ones that you and I want to see. So let's give it to some tier 2 Megas that are bringing big needle energy, like Mega Beedrill. Better hide your spoons because it's Mega Alakazam. And as of December, we've got 2 newcomers entering the chat, Mega Raichu X and Mega Raichu Y. So let's throw these double rare Megamons onto the board, and since we're on the topic of Megas, let's jump about a decade forward to the era of the present, Mega Evolution. We've only got 3 rarities left, and that gold hyper rare slot is staring me right in the face. Mega hyper rares are exploding right now. You've got the Mega Charizard X, Mega Lucario, and Mega Gardevoir all selling for hundreds of dollars. Since we've already got a Mega Charizard, I think it's best we pass on reusing it. So that would probably leave us with Mega Mewtwo for our hyper rare Pokemon. I think that's fine, but Mega Evolution also gave us ultra rare full art item cards for the first time. And I really need to give some love to the support cards of base set. So we're going to save the hyper rare slot again, and bring base set item cards to corner glory of full art ultra rares. Here's some of the more nostalgic ones from the video games, like the Pokédoll, which got you past the Ghost, or the Pokéflute, which got you past Snorlax, or the Pokédex, which I could never fill as a kid because I only owned Pokemon Red. And of course, that timeless classic, the Super Potion. So full art items are definitely not as glamorous as Mega Hyper Rares, but we've got the glory and glamour of our sets coming right now. We've got our last 2 generations and our top 2 rarities left to fill, and it's honestly such a tight race between Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield for the special illustration rare slot. You've got the rarities namesake and Scarlet and Violet competing against the absolutely epic alt arts of Sword and Shield, and you really can't go wrong here. Both have a modern day Moonbryon Grail, both carry tremendous monetary value for the generation, both have given us some of the best arts to have ever graced the hobby. So what the decision really comes down to between the sets is which hyper rare is better. And I can tell you right now, it ain't Scarlet and Violet. I don't know about you, but the hyper rares of Scarlet and Violet were total misses for me. And that's enough for me to say that we're going with Scarlet and Violet for our special illustration rare slot. And I think you can guess which Pokemon are getting an SIR. First up, fresh from A Song of Ice and Fire, Stones, it's Ninetales and Arcanine, whose fiery glow emits a chromatic plume of chaos and color. Next up is a battle of poison partners. It's Venusaur, who's taken a beating from the ghoulish Gengar, who by nature of cameo is missing from base set no longer. Speaking of cameos, it's Kangaskhan, taking on Pokemon's resident thick Ninja Turtle, Blastoise, who's about to go full suplex on that mom and baby. And last up, it's a behemoth battle between 2 Pokemon competing to be your mailman. Special delivery, it's Charizard, taking on Dragonite. I designed our special illustration rares to sort of bridge the gap between our tag team illustration rares while staying true to our challenge. So let's add these into the set, and now we're on to the finale. Okay, for our hyper rare slot, we get to use the best gold cards ever made. It's Flappy. Just kidding, in 2023, at the tail end of one of the greatest generations of Pokemon cards ever, Pokemon released my favorite set of all time, Crown Zenith. And the crown jewels of the set are the golden god cards, Palkia, Dialga, Arceus, and best of all, Giratina. Since Crown Zenith gave its highest rarity to its legendaries, we're going to copy and paste for base set, which means our hyper rares go to Zapdos and Mewtwo. Zapdos erupts with static energy as it protects the secrets of Lightning Island from its encroaching brother birds. And Mewtwo hovers over the new island as he prepares to welcome Kanto's bravest trainers through a duel of fates that could leave him ruling over the world. So there you have it, 1 upgrade per generation per rarity, given to the most iconic set of all time. I don't know if we made it better, but we definitely made it more fun. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.